According to a recent study released by Center for Immigration Studies, the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, releases 30,558 criminally convicted illegal immigrants, a total of 79,059 convictions altogether in 2014. This is what Trump's talking about. Even if it's a small percentage who are murderers and rapists and so forth, that's too many. It also shows that among the 904,000 illegal immigrants who have ignored orders to leave the U.S., approximately 167,500 of them are convicted criminal immigrants. Likewise, the April 2015 statistics indicate ICE has only arrested 11,983 at-large convicted criminal immigrants, despite the fact that 168,000 were identified. So in our streets throughout this country, throughout our cities, suburbs, exurbs, whatever you call them, there are illegal aliens who are criminals. Some of them have committed heinous crimes wandering the streets, Mr. Bush. Yes. Now, the case of this beautiful 32-year-old who was slaughtered, shot in the back, for no reason whatsoever. This guy, Francisco Sanchez, who goes by 45 names or whatever it is, he was released by the authorities in San Francisco. As you know by now, is a sanctuary city. If you listen to the show, I've condemned these cities before. April 22, 2015, this year, the Congressional Research Service reported between 1970 and 2013, it's 43 years, the estimated foreign-born population in the United States increased from 9.7 million to 41.3 million, respectively, an increase of over 31 million persons, representing a percentage increase of 324.5% over 43 years. No wonder there's no assimilation. But there's more, and I can't address it all, but let's open the debate. Scholars Hal Salzman, Nathaniel Kuhn, Lindsay Lowe from the Economic Policy Institute, they took a look at these high-skilled jobs. Remember, everybody says, we need more HB1 jobs, HB1. Oh, we can all agree on that. Let's import more scientists and mathematicians and engineers. Follow me. They found that for every 2 students in U.S. colleges who graduate with these advanced degrees, only 1 is hired in one of these jobs. The report further states that of the computer science graduates not entering the information technology workforce, 32% say it's because IT jobs are unavailable. 53% say they found better job opportunities outside of IT occupations. The 3 scholars conclude this indicates the supply of graduates in what's called the STEM-related fields, mathematics and engineering and technology and science, is substantially larger than the demand for them in industry. I'm quoting from their report. Indeed, while demanding that the federal government substantially increase the number of high-skilled and high-tech immigrants in the country, Hewlett-Packard, Cisco, American Express, Procter & Gamble, T-Mobile, Microsoft, among others, I should add Disney, recently slashed tens of thousands of employees, American citizens, in these jobs. The Census Bureau reports, quote, 74% of those who have a bachelor's degree in science, technology, engineering, and math, commonly referred to as STEM, are not employed in STEM occupations. That doesn't stop the Chamber of Commerce, the Silicon Valley, their mouthpieces on radio and TV. This affects your kids and your grandkids. Okay, let's have the debate. I want to have this debate. We've talked about our prisons. We've talked about the criminals. And now I'm talking about having gone broke with their student loans. Now they can't find jobs in these skill areas, these professional areas, because we are importing other people into the country who get paid a lot less. The STEM-related industries, wages have remained flat, this report says. They're hovering around their late 1990s levels, which is exactly what the Silicon Valley and the U.S. Chamber of Crony Capitalism wants. That means the salaries of professionals in these fields have not increased in the last 16 years. While salaries have not increased, they report, the flow of guest workers has increased over the past decade and continues to rise. The annual inflows of guest workers amount to 1/3 to 1/2 of the number of all new IT job holders in America. And these scholars conclude, I read the report, immigration policies that facilitate large flows of guest workers will supply labor at wages that are too low to induce significant increases in supply from the domestic workforce. Now, what about the other end of the scale? Mark, where are you getting from? It's in my new book, Plunder and Deceit. It's only one chapter. But I didn't waste any words. What about the other end that haven't gone to college? Low-skilled workers. Our friends at the Foundation for American Immigration Reform, or FAIR, found that dropouts have been identified as the group who face competition for jobs most directly from illegal aliens. The number of unemployed citizens without a high school diploma increased by 18.7%, while the number of unemployed born persons decreased by 24.8%. So despite the supposed economic recovery following the Great Depression, employers continued to favor illegal alien labor despite millions of less educated Americans who were unemployed. So the unemployment rate for high school dropout American citizens went up by 18.7%. For unemployed foreign-born persons, decreased by 24.8%. Well, you figure out the math. It's quite simple. It's very simple. You know, Dr. Milton Friedman, for the libertarians out there, no, we want the free flow of labor like the free flow of goods. Dr. Milton Friedman was sympathetic to open-ended immigration. I've played his audio on this program several times. But he was also intellectually honest about its impracticability, given the federal government's massive welfare and entitlement programs. This is what he explained. He said, it's one thing to have free immigration to jobs. It's another thing to have free immigration to welfare. You can't have both. I'm quoting him in the book. If you have a welfare state, if you have a state in which every resident is promised a certain minimal level of income or a minimum level of subsistence, regardless of whether he works or not, produces, then it really is an impossible thing. Dr. Sam Huntington, professor at Harvard, the late professor who I've quoted often, he said, there's a pronounced erosion of the differences between citizens and aliens, which suggests the central importance of material government benefits for immigrant decisions. Immigrants become citizens not because they're attracted to America's culture and creed. Now remember, we know there's large exceptions. The problem is there's too many who follow this rule. But because they are attracted by government social welfare and affirmative action programs. If these are available to non-citizens, the incentive for citizenship fades. As I say, there are exceptions, of course. One more. I've got tons more. Well, one more. The Heritage Foundations did a finding, and they found that on average, unlawful immigrant households receive illegal, $24,721 per household in government benefits and services in FY 2010. Now, that includes direct benefits, means-tested benefits, education, population-based services received by the household, but it excludes the cost of public goods, interest on the government debt, and so forth and so on. By contrast, unlawful immigrant households on average pay only $10,334 in taxes. So in other words, unlawful immigrant households receive $2.40 in benefits and services for every dollar paid in taxes. All unlawful immigrant households together in 2010 received almost $94 billion per year in government benefits and services, paid $39 billion, yielding an aggregate annual deficit of almost $55 billion a year just to the federal government. We have people on radio and TV, I used to work for Reagan, I'm an economist, I know finances. Where are their facts? Where are their statistics? Let's have them. Present them. I'm using government information. Government information, analyses by various scholars throughout our society. The statistics don't lie. You cannot have unfettered, unmanaged immigration, legal or illegal. From a criminal perspective, from a terrorist perspective, from an economic perspective, but most of all from an American perspective. And on top of that, as I've discussed with you and as I write in this book, in this one chapter, there's no assimilation going on unless people self-assimilate. There's no assimilation in our schools, quite the contrary. Every culture's the same. Every culture's great, of course, except ours, where Obama keeps going on TV and elsewhere trashing us. Racism is in our DNA, he tells us. So when you see these businesses boycotting Trump because of what he said, when you see these Republican governors who've done little or nothing to stem the flow of illegal immigration in this country, many states that didn't even join the state of Arizona in fighting what was going on there, you shouldn't support them, in my humble opinion.